Research Associate Dr. Tilak Bahadur Shrestha, sir. Welcome to the Gorkha Spirit.
Namaste.
How do you see the Russia-Ukraine war? It is still ongoing.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising that it's been what 3rd year now, still fighting. So when it started, I'm not a geopolitics expert or army expert, but almost everybody assumed that just a matter of a couple of weeks, I'll be done, and then everything will be fancy, and then Mr. Zelensky will run away from there, and then Ukraine and Russia will be again back to being brothers, right? That's what it was before when it was like a Soviet Union. So that was the general concepts. And all of a sudden, it's been keep on fighting for so many months. And the latest news is like almost 10 million or I think it's 1 million Russians died, almost like 800,000 Ukrainians died. It's a horrible number, you know. Not to talk about property damage or, that's not even countless, right? It's really, really unfortunate, right? I don't know. I'm neither Russian or the Ukraine, so I'm not here to talk about this. As a Nepali, as a country of the Buddha, all we can say is peace, brotherhood, and that's all we can talk about. But however, I've heard about it, this is not my calculation, but what I've heard was the Russians asked Ukraine not to join NATO, and just be a neutral or not to join either party, and Ukraine refused to do that, and they wanted to join NATO, and that's how the whole thing came by. So hopefully they go back to the same situation like earlier. Maybe the Ukraine can stay neutral and be peace with everybody, also especially with Russia. But having said that, after so much death and destruction, it will take a lot more time than we can expect. Only thing, what we can do, we can simply wish them all the best, all the peace for all of them.
So it's a war between Russia, Ukraine only, or it's Russia versus Western?
If you look at the size and the army strength, all that, Ukraine is a very small country as compared to Russia. So obviously, Ukraine is fighting with the help, both arms and money from the West, America and Europe, that's what they're fighting with. So that is a really problem, because that will have a long-term effect on the global peace. Now imagine if the West, U.S. and the West versus Russia lingers on for a long time, then that enmity is not going to go away right away. So now all the resource, they could have done something good for like a poor country like Africans and so many Asian, like Nepal also a poor country. So instead of spending to benefit of people, they are using that to kill each other. That's really, really unfortunate. And hopefully something positive comes out of it. Now, Mr. President Trump, when he came, he was saying that he is going to bring the peace between Ukraine and Russia, right? Hopefully, I really do hope that he succeeds in what he said about. And now, this is not an easy job. It's not like you can run a wand and make a good thing. They can rabbit. But if you consistently work together, it might come off. Because if you compare Israel-Iran situation and over here, in the Israeli-Iran case, it's about Islamic ideology to attack non-Muslims. That's the root, and which is not easy thing to take care of it. But in the case of Ukraine and Russia, it is not that kind of deep-seated ideological problem. That could be much easier to take care of it. Thank you.
So when they will stop the war?
I have no idea when they would. I hope so as soon as possible, right away.
When Ukraine finished or before finishing?
No, nothing will be finished. There may lots of people may die off and all the problem damaged, but the Ukraine will be still there.
Half of the Ukraine damaged already.
I know, but they'll be still there. So that the only question is, Russia has taken over the eastern part of the Ukraine, and also there was a big what's it called that the Crimea, that was taken over, and so the Ukraine seems to be looks like, hopefully they don't have to, but looks like they're going to lose some territory. And also, eastern part of Ukraine, there are lots of Russians live there. Same thing because they were one country before, and so how it's going to work out is very difficult to fathom right now because population movements and the territorial, grabbing and all that thing comes up. If the Russians say that, see, we have so many Russians have died, so why do we let you go for nothing? And there has to be some penalty to be paid for that.
They are one country before.
Yeah.
It means some people believe that it's a fight between son and father and son. Is it true?
It is, I would not say father and son, but I would say cousins, because the Ukrainian culture, language, all that is very similar to Russian. And also, when the time of Soviet Union, Ukraine was a part of the whole Soviet Union, and so the Crimea was a Russian territory before, and Russia gave to Ukraine because as a matter of one single country of the Soviet Union, right? So there were lots of gives and take, and then lots of Russians moved to Ukraine, Ukraine moved to Russia, all that, the move of the population also there. So they were not really enemies, but rather something like cousins, right? It's unfortunate that they came to this kind of, the fight. And now I will imagine it will take a long time to heal the wound, but hopefully it does, because they are not really the enemy of the people, So when you are not enemies, when you are cousins, and if you have a problem, and then after solving the problem, it will take some time, but it will slowly heal. So I hope so.
So NATO countries is fueling the Ukraine against the Russia. It is said mostly.
I think so. I think so.
Is it true?
I think so. I think so. Otherwise, where do Ukraine get all the arms and the ammunition and the money? I mean, given the size difference between Ukraine and Russia, in terms of their economy, in terms of their arms and army, Ukraine is a very small part of it. Now, they fought very well, I guess, but still, it cannot last like 3 years, right? Unless there is a support from outside.
Thank you, sir, for joining with us.
Thank you very much. Namaskar.